Pompeii did not wake up to fear. It woke up to sunlight. The morning light spilled gently over tiled rooftops and narrow stone streets, touching the city the same way it had touched it every morning before. The air was warm and familiar, carrying the smell of bread rising in stone ovens, olive oil heating in kitchens, and the faint salt of the nearby sea. Wooden shutters creaked open one by one. Footsteps echoed along streets, polished smooth by decades of ordinary life. Somewhere behind a wall, a dog barked, impatient and hungry. Nothing about that morning felt different. And that was the most dangerous thing of all. Pompeii had always lived beneath Mount Vesuvius. The mountain stood in the distance, like it always had, broad, green, quiet, almost gentle. Vineyards climbed its slopes. Trees grew thick along its sides. It was not a threat. It was scenery. It was background. No one alive remembered it doing anything else. No one even called it a volcano. To the people of Pompeii, the mountain was old, harmless, and permanent. It had watched over generations being born, working, aging, and dying. Why would today be any different? A baker wiped flour from his hands and slid loaves into the oven. Unaware the heat far greater than his own fire was already building beneath the earth. He thought about how many loaves he might sell before midday. A merchant arranged jars in folded cloth outside his shop, glancing at the sky and deciding it would be a good day for business. Children ran barefoot through the streets, laughing, chasing one another between columns and doorways. Their voices bounced off stone walls that had stood longer than their grandparents had been alive. They did not know how fragile stone could be. In the marketplace, the city gathered as it always did. Conversations drifted lazily from gossip to politics, from prices to plans for the evening. Someone complained about taxes. Someone else joked about the heat. A man mentioned the small tremors felt days earlier. Another waved it away. Pompeii had shaken before. It always had. Routine was comforting. Routine was reassuring. Routine was trusted more than any warning. In the villas near the edge of the city, the wealthy enjoyed breakfast in shaded courtyards. Water flowed gently through fountains, catching the light. Painted walls depicted gods, heroes, and distant lands, symbols of permanence, of a world that felt ordered and safe. Slaves moved quietly, trained to be invisible, believing this morning would be no different from any other. No one rushed. No one fled. No one sensed the clock that had already begun counting down. By mid-morning, the first sign appeared. A sound rolled across the city low, deep, unfamiliar. It was not loud enough to cause panic. It felt distant, like thunder without a storm. Some people paused. Some tilted their heads. A few glanced toward the mountain. Above Vesuvius, a thin cloud hovered where no cloud should be. It rose higher than the others, stretching upward instead of drifting away. It looked strange, but not yet terrifying. Pompeii did not panic. The city trusted memory more than instinct. Vesuvius had been silent for centuries. It had never destroyed a city. It had never demanded fear. People returned to what they were doing. Then the ash began to fall. At first, it was light, almost gentle. Gray flakes drifted down slowly, like snow that did not melt. Children reached out to catch it. Adults brushed it from their hair and shoulders. Some laughed nervously, others frowned. No one ran. The idea that a city could disappear before the day was over felt absurd. The ash thickened. Sunlight faded, turning pale and sickly. The air grew heavier. Breathing became uncomfortable. The streets grew quieter as people began to notice that something was wrong. Roofs started to groan under a weight they had never carried before. Then a sharp crack echoed through the city. A roof collapsed somewhere nearby. The sound cut through the morning like a blade. Confusion spread faster than fear. People began asking questions no one could answer. What was happening? Would it stop? Should they leave? Where should they go? The ash burned the eyes. Throats tightened. Panic crept in slowly, replacing disbelief one heartbeat at a time. Families searched for one another as the city became unfamiliar. Ash blurred landmarks. Streets disappeared beneath layers of gray. Pompeii was vanishing while its people were still trying to understand what they were seeing. Some tried to flee. They ran toward the gates, toward the sea, toward anywhere that was not here. Others rushed indoors, believing walls would protect them. Many hesitated, caught between choices, trapped by indecision. Pompeii had always been safe. That belief refused to die easily. By the time terror fully arrived, escape was already slipping away. The ash now fell hot and relentless. Darkness swallowed the city in the middle of the day. Torches flickered weakly, useless against the choking air. Roofs collapsed without warning. Streets filled with debris. Screams cut through the darkness, then disappeared as suddenly as they began. Inside homes, people huddled together, pressing close, holding hands, whispering prayers to gods they hoped were listening. In the streets, bodies fell where they stood. Some reached for doors they would never open. Others froze, unable to accept that there was no right choice left. Time lost meaning. The mountain that had once been ignored now ruled everything. Pompeii did not fall to an enemy. It was not conquered. No army marched through its gates. No swords were drawn. No banners were raised. It fell in confusion. It fell in disbelief. It fell because the ordinary morning everyone trusted had never promised safety at all. When silence finally returned, the city was gone. Not erased from memory, but buried. Pompeii would remain hidden for centuries, sealed beneath ash and stone. Lives frozen in motion. Final moments captured without mercy. A city preserved not by intention, but by disaster arriving too quickly for escape. When it was rediscovered long after, the world would see what the people of Pompeii never had time to understand. They did not die because they were careless. They died because they believed the future would look like the past. Pompeii did not die screaming at dawn. It died believing the morning was normal. And that is what makes its story unbearable. Because history does not always end with fire and chaos. Sometimes it ends while people are still planning their day. Pompeii reminds us of a truth history repeats again and again. The most dangerous moments are not when we are afraid, but when we believe nothing can happen.